This is what if Naruto had the ritugiri mask. The ritugiri mask is something I made up myself. The ritugiri mask is a mask that was worn by a warrior that would, whenever he killed people, he would put their souls into the mask by using seals. And when he died, he sealed himself into the mask. And him being the strongest out of everyone in the mask, whenever and what time period, I can think of one off the top of my head. We're gonna say after the death of Hashirama, the mask, well, all the souls in the mask had merged for some reason. And him being the strongest soul in there, his personality kept to the mask. And the souls pretty much turned into one big demon. So, this is what the mask looks like. And instead of the red though, it's white. So instead of the red hair, it's white hair. And the cloak will be black. Oh, I have like a big axe on the back of on the back. Yeah. This is how he normally looks, but the shoes match the outfit, and his hair is actually still it's gonna be white, and he's gonna have green eyes. So that's how it's gonna look. Because his dad, Minato, is gonna have white hair as well. And I'm not gonna change that he's a Namikaze, so I'm just gonna make up something. White hair Namikazes are considered prodigies and are most likely to become prodigies, like Minato is, or Minato, whatever you like to prefer to call. And they're also called albino Namikaze. So that's pretty much what Naruto is. What he takes on the figure of. He takes on the figure of an albino Namikaze. And since he is an albino Namikaze, he's a lot smarter. He's not smart, he's not like Shikamaru level smart, but he's not dumb. So he's like the average, 12-year-old brain that, so he's not going to be like the bottom of his class, especially because he's going to be strong. But, yeah. So, I don't know why I did that. So now we're going to start with this. So, Naruto turns 3 years old, and he's walking through the village. He then gets spotted by the normal group of villagers that beat him up whenever they see him. So, he would hear someone yell, "Get that demon brat," behind him, and he would instantly start running, knowing what would happen if he gets caught. And I almost forgot one more thing. When Naruto gets the mask, it gives him two styles. Sun style, so it's pretty much just like very overpowered fire, and atomic style, which is a weaker version of nuclear style. And you guys probably know what nuclear style is. But let me explain a little bit of atomic style. Atomic style can come in two different colors, red and green. And if you're strong enough, you could be able to use both of these colors, because the green one is mostly like contact. When you touch them, they start to get sick and feel sick. Well, red is more of the damaging type. And Naruto is going to be able to put both of them together. So yeah, just gonna say that, put that out there. And once again, sun style is just very overpowered fire. And the atomic, it can't kill people whenever they get nuclear poisoning. It'll only make them feel nauseous, make them get this burning feeling inside, like they're being burnt, and then they'll pass out pretty much. Unless they're really strong-willed and they don't pass out. But other than that, yeah. So let me continue. So while he's running from the villagers, he makes a right turn, and he goes into this alleyway. He then realizes that he's cornered in the alleyway. So they start walking up on him. And Naruto sees a mask. So it doesn't have the hair on it while he sees it right now. It just looks like the regular mask. Yeah. So then, he would then slide the mask on, hoping it would protect his face from the incoming punches that he was about to receive. But then, he felt something overcome him. The hair would grow, and it would be long white hair, and he would then have a black cloak. The villagers would look at him, and they would say, was that outfit change supposed to scare us? Since they couldn't see Naruto's eyes, they could only see, like a shining light. It was a shining green light. Naruto would then reach for his axe, being controlled by the warrior inside of him. He would then disappear from all the villagers' sights. They would all turn around to see Naruto standing behind them, and his axe bloody. When they would look at each other, they would look at the guy in front of them. He had no marks on him, whatever. Until he turned around. They seen the big cut from his his forehead all the way down to the chin. But it was like a diagonal cut, going past the nose, but missing the eye. So it's like in between there, like right between the forehead and in between the eye and the nose, and it went all the way down, like diagonally. And to do this without killing the person, you would have to be really skilled and precise with your cuts. So they're just staring at Naruto and they're in fear. Naruto would then hold up his hand and he would whisper the words, "Sun style, banishment." A fire would then flare up as if it was a wall, and then it would take the shape of a person holding a spear. This giant godlike figure would then launch the spear into the villagers, killing all 5 of them. Naruto would then walk away, and as he's walking, he would then fall down to the ground, being drained of stamina. The mask would then lose its possession over Naruto, and the hair would shrinken and the cloak would disappear along with the axe. Naruto would then look around, saying, "What happened to the villagers?" When he's like, Did I do that?" He would think to himself. He would then try to slide off the mask, but the mask wouldn't come off. It would only go above his head. How Ray's wearing it. Ray's from Promised Neverland, if you didn't know that. Watch season 2, pretty good. So, he would then go to the Hokage and tell him about the mask and everything that happened. So Hiruzen would be dumbfounded, but him not really knowing much about the ritugiri mask, there was nothing for him to do. Well, nothing he could do. So he sent Naruto off, and he told Naruto not to tell anyone about the ritugiri mask. But since he didn't know the name of it, he would just call it the mask. Naruto only found out the name when he was going home, because when he got home, he was making him something to eat. And since his room is pretty dirty, he tripped over something. The mask closed back up, but he wasn't being taken control of. And he can see a carved in imprint on the mask. It would say Ritugiri on the mask. Oh, and also the name of the warrior was Ritugiri. That's why it's called the Ritugiri mask. So, Naruto would utter the words Ritugiri. He would get up. I guess that's the name of the mask, he would say to himself, before continuing to make what he wanted to eat, which is ramen, of course. And we're going to do another time skip. Oh, wait, no, forgot to mention something. Hiruzen actually contacted Jiraiya to come back to the village for this reason. So we're going to have a much stronger Naruto. And he's not going to need the mask and have to depend on the mask. Yeah. So we're going to time skip till he turns 5. Because that's when he's going to start going to the academy. And that's when Jiraiya actually starts training him. Because when he's 4, they do little light training. Where Jiraiya will have Naruto come at him with a kunai or something. But 5 is when they actually started training. Jiraiya would have him run around the village. He would then have him do multiple push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups. He would then have him concentrate on his mind, and then they would go out for a lunch break, eating the popsicles for dessert, I guess. And they would do that every day until he turned 7, with the weekends as breaks. Jiraiya then had to leave again, for he had something else that was more important at the moment. And in his defense, it really was. He had to go help a village out. So Naruto's 7. And he's been keeping his power hidden because, like Hiruzen said, but he then gets called by Naruto. And Naruto's like, yes, Hiruzen? Because he doesn't call him old man because he's more respectful. He's like basically an introvert, pretty much. He doesn't like to talk to people in this what if. And he's like respectful. He doesn't like disrespect people. He's respectful. He doesn't like draw on the Hokage's faces and that. So Hiruzen is like, well, from what I've seen, you're at the bottom of your class. You must start trying in your classes. When I told you to hide your power, I didn't mean don't ever use it. Well, by that, I mean don't use the mask. I don't care if you use your sun style or atomic style. That's what you wanted to call it, right? Naruto would nod his head. So Hiruzen would say, we'll just label it as a Kekkei Genkai for now, as he would ruffle Naruto's hair. Naruto would smile, pull down the mask, and then leave. And when he pulled down the mask, he could hear a voice in his head telling him, you're quite strong, especially for a kid. Naruto would look around everywhere, and he wouldn't see anything. He would then realize, is that coming from inside my head? He would then instantly think of the Nine Tails, because he knows about the Nine Tails, because Jiraiya. So he starts to concentrate, remembering that Jiraiya said, you can talk to them if you but you gotta concentrate, So he's concentrating, and then he ends up in the mindscape. So when he's walking around, he ends up stumbling upon the Nine Tails, but he sees the Nine Tails didn't even expect him to come there. So he was like, yo, what are you doing here? And Naruto was like, oh, I thought it was you that was talking to me. Kurama was like, nah, that wasn't me, bro. Naruto then feels a shoulder, he then feels an arm placed on his shoulder. He would look back, and he would see a man wearing the same mask as him, and a big dark cloak. He would then step back, and he would get his axe, because he now has an axe, because he carries this axe, so when he turns into the demon form, and then back, he still has a weapon on him, pulls out his axe. He's like, who are you? He's like, but I am the original owner of the mask, as you can see. He would then point to the mask that he was wearing. Naruto would be like, that is the mask that I have. So he's like, so why'd you name the mask Ritugiri? He's like, that's not the name of the mask. It's my name. Who would name a mask? He's like, me? Naruto would be like, I did. I thought it was Ritugiri, because you carved Ritugiri into it, so that's what I assume the mask's called. He's like, Ritugiri, the Ritugiri mask, huh? Has a nice ring to it. He's like, well, since you're here, I was thinking that I could train you while that old man is gone. Naruto would kind of get a little mad, and like, don't disrespect Jiraiya, sensei, he would say. And Ritugiri would just laugh at him. And he's like, well, are you down to train or what? Naruto would say, I don't know, you would have to let me think about it. And ritugiri accepted that. And then Naruto left his mindscape. And to be clear, ritugiri is not stronger than Kurama, but he is strong. Like, he's like half a Kurama. So if you were to fight two of him, you basically be like fighting a Kurama. So, yeah. So Naruto goes to school the next day. And today just happens to be the day that they're sparring. So Naruto, taking what Hiruzen said seriously, he doesn't use the mask, and he's now fighting Sasuke. So Sasuke would rush at Naruto and try to punch him, thinking that's usually because that's how he always wins. Naruto would grab his fist and kind of do what Rock Lee did to Naruto in the original, and just deflect him. Sasuke would then roll and catch himself before he meets the circle. Because I like to imagine when they spar, it's like a circle around them, and if they fall out of the circle, they pretty much lose. So he catches himself right before he falls out the circle, and then he would then rush back at Naruto. He would throw 2 punches at Naruto, which Naruto both dodged, and then he would do a roundhouse kick. Naruto would block this roundhouse kick, and then he would uppercut Sasuke. Sasuke would be like in the air, and he would do pretty much a flip, lands, and then into a somersault. When he jumped back, he threw 2 kunai. Naruto would grab out his axe and started to spin it, deflecting the kunai, and he would put the axe back. He would stare at Sasuke, and Sasuke would stare at him. They would kind of have like that stare off where people stare at each other and start walking around each other, kind of like that. He would then disappear from Sasuke's sight. Sasuke would be dumbfounded when he sees Naruto right beside him. Naruto would then say, "Sun style." Backhand. So what happens is the back of his hand heats up. And he just smacked the crap out of freaking Sasuke, bro. So when Sasuke gets smacked, he falls out of the circle, and his face has a red mark on it. And Naruto didn't even smack him that hard. He just he basically was like just swinging his hand, you know. He used like 25% of his force when he smacked him. But then again, Sasuke is light because he's a 7-year-old at this time. So you got to take in all that. So he's pretty strong, but not like strong, you know. Like he can probably if he was to use his full power, he could probably put a dent in a tree or something like that. You know, tear off some of the bark. And so, alright. What was it? Oh yeah, so he beat Sasuke, and half of the girls are biased. Half the girls are like, "What? How did you beat Sasuke? You cheated." And other girls are like, "Oh my god, he beat Sasuke. He's better." You know, because, some girls, aren't, fangirly to the point where they're freaking defend this man's honor. But, that. So, this is how Naruto gets a little bit of popularity. And he also gets respect among some of the guys. Remember how in the original, he would get beat up by pretty much everybody? But now he has, respect from everybody. They're not, always, picking on him or something. People like Choji Choji is kind of his friend. They're good friends. But I mean, people like Kiba and other males in the class won't just, pick on Naruto for being weak, I guess, because he's strong. And after school ends, Naruto will go home and think about Ritugiri's offer. He would then accept, and would go into his mindscape. Ritugiri was like, "I was expecting you to come back." Naruto was like, I'm ready to train. Ritugiri was like, okay. He would then disappear from Naruto's sight, and Naruto would know what he's gonna do, seeing as he does this all the time. Naruto would grab his axe, turn around, and swing it. When he swung it, it was met with another axe. The two axes clashed before Naruto and Ritugiri jumped back. Ritugiri would yell, "Fire style, majestic destroyer flames." See, Ritugiri, he doesn't have atomic style, nuclear style, no sun style. He doesn't have none of that. It just, the mask. I don't know what to say. So, he would yell sun style. No, he would yell fire style, majestic destroyer flames. And Naruto would yell, fire style, beam of the gods. He would then weave hand signs and cup both of his hands together, like, you know how when Goku does the Kamehameha wave, when he blasts it, his hands like cupped like that. Pretty much that's what Naruto did. And 4 beams came rushing out of his hands. Both of the attacks met, and Naruto's overpowered Ritugiri's. Ritugiri would then dodge all 4 of the beams, and he would once again disappear. Naruto would look to his right, and Ritugiri would already be there, and shoving his leg into his ribcage. Naruto would then fly all the way to the wall in the mindscape. He would then catch himself, like, instead of falling, catch himself and stand up straight. He would then yell, atomic style, atomic fist. It would be a red aura around it. And then with a little more focusing, the green aura, it was like a thin green aura, like how Ultra Instinct looks. It was a thin green aura around the red. And since it's not perfected yet, it's like spiking up, like when people, how auras in Dragon Ball Z look, it's like spiked up at the top, and it like keeps, like his aura around his hands keeps spiking and going up and down and stuff, showing that it's unstable. But he would then run at Ritugiri, and when he gets arm length away from him, he would disappear. He would then appear right behind Ritugiri, kicking Ritugiri in the back of the head. And when Ritugiri, like, he dodged it by crouching down. Naruto expected this, though. And he had a shadow clone, because he already knows how to do that. He had made a shadow clone that was right in front of Ritugiri, and it shoved the atomic fist right into his stomach. Ritugiri was sent flying. Ritugiri would then, like, shove his axe into the ground, like he would like, swing it downwards to stop himself from moving. He would then stand up and say, that was a strong attack. He would then run towards Naruto, but then stop, lift up the mask, and start throwing up. Naruto was like, that's the effects of the atomic fist. You're pretty much useless now. Ritugiri says, you don't know what conditions I've been through. Ritugiri would then grab his axe, launch it at Naruto. Naruto was too slow to even react to this. The axe was already right in front of Naruto, but the axe missed him on purpose. Ritugiri was like, as you can tell, I am leagues above you. That's why I'm training you. And you passed the test. So, now we'll commence real training. So, over the past few years, he would receive training from Ritugiri on just how to, use chakra. He can walk up walls, but only for a certain amount of time. He can also walk on water, but like literally he can only do it for like 3 seconds. And he also knows a couple more jutsu, including Sun Style Dragon's Wrath, Sun Style Unholy Essence, and Sun Style Fiery Vortex. So he knows 3 Sun Style moves, and then he knows Atomic Fist, and this time it's perfected. So instead of it being like spiky, it's just like a circular aura around his fist. And those atomic breath. So he does basically the signs for the fireball jutsu, but he adds another. It's like he adds a little bit more to it in the beginning and the end. And so yeah, pretty much it's basically just a fire style fireball jutsu, but with nuclear or atomic like gas. Yeah. And he can also bring out like I forgot what that one metal is called. It's like highly radioactive or nuclear or something like that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hold up. Uranium. It's called uranium. And he has another atomic move called atomic style rock riser. So what it does is it brings uranium and it brings it from under the ground. And they come up in spikes. And uranium is highly, radioactive and stuff. So if you were to touch it or get hit by it, you would pretty much have the effect, like you'll start throwing up and you'll start burning up and stuff. So yeah, those are the moves Naruto knows. Oh, and he knows Shadow Clone Jutsu. And he also came up with this other move called Demon Claw. But he only uses it whenever he is under the control of the mask. So now we're going to time skip to graduation day. Naruto passes the graduation with the second highest scores in the class. Sasuke still has the highest scores in the class since, at the beginning, Naruto wasn't really applying himself. And he didn't want everybody to... He thought if he was the strongest, people would fear him. So he didn't want to be the strongest, but he also didn't want to be the weakest. So he aimed for the second strongest. And so then they would get the original teams. Everyone would get their original teams. And Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would be on the same team. Sakura is happy with this because she has the two strongest kids in the class on her team. Naruto and Sasuke, however, they don't like each other at all. Sasuke especially doesn't like freaking Naruto because when they were kids, Naruto pretty much just backhanded him and won. And he knows that Naruto's been holding back every other time they fought, letting Sasuke win. So this Sasuke does not like that. So yeah, and he's still his edgy self, seeing as Itachi still did killed all the Uchihas. So after an hour of waiting, Kakashi would finally enter the room. He would say he was sorry that he was late and give the same excuse he gave in canon. He would then tell them to meet him on the roof. So when he goes on the roof, he would look at the three, and he would ask them their name and what they want to be. Naruto will go first. Oh, and the hobbies and stuff. Naruto is actually different. Naruto would say, "I am Naruto Uzumaki. My hobbies, or things that I like ramen. I like eating ramen. I like training. And I like learning about jutsu. Things I dislike are bullies, people that would abandon their friends, and Sasuke." Sakura would then smack Naruto on the back of the head. And then she would pretty much says what she says in canon. And Sasuke would do the same. But instead of saying he doesn't really dislike anything either, he would say, "I truly hate Naruto. And then they would have like this little glare at each other. And then this would give Sasuke a flashback to when their fight, and he would clench his fist. Enough to draw blood too. So Kakashi's like, alright, that's enough. Goodbye. So when they're leaving, Naruto is stopped by Sasuke. Sasuke is like, me and you will fight using our full power. Naruto would look at him and say, I'm sorry, Sasuke, but you don't want me to do that. He would then try to walk away, but not Sasuke, but like tighten his grip. He was like, fight me, Naruto. Naruto was like, okay. He would then body flicker and say, the fight started. He would then chop Sasuke's neck, and Sasuke would just pass out. He would carry Sasuke, and he would like drop him off right behind Sakura, and he would tap her shoulder, and then he would like when she turned around, he would go the opposite way, and he would just walk home. And when he goes home, he goes to sleep, and he doesn't eat like Kakashi instructed them to do. And Ritugiri is like, you down for some training? And Naruto was like, I'm sorry, but I can't right now. I have something important to do tomorrow, he would say. That yawn was so perfect. I didn't even like want it to happen, but that was so perfect. I hope you guys heard that. So Ritugiri would say, okay, well, good night, I guess. Naruto would say good night. And when he went to sleep, Ritugiri was like, I'm about to take control. So he took control, and he gets his usual outfit, the white hair, the black cloak, and he would sneak out. He would then go to a neighboring village, and this is where people can get hired to kill people. Basically, this is where hitmen go, or assassins go to like get jobs for So he gets this job from this old man. This old man's like, this is the man that killed my daughter. I want you to kill him for me, please. So, in Naruto's voice, Ritugiri would be like, alright, I'll kill him for you, I guess. So, Ritugiri would then body flicker onto the rooftops. Ritugiri is like, I've been weakened, so now killing people and absorbing their souls should make me to my full extent, should bring me my full power back. And then I'll be able to keep up with this kid. Because Ritugiri, he lost a lot of his power, so he's not as strong as he used to be. And Naruto is nearing the strength that Ritugiri is. So that's why Ritugiri has taken control of his body, so he can like absorb another soul and become stronger. So when he sees the man is holding 2 daggers, like he expected an attack. Ritugiri, using pure speed, would disappear and appear right in front of the guy, swinging his axe towards the ribcage. The man would then block the axe with 2 daggers, and he would jump back, saying, I expected you. He would then wave hand signs and yell, water style, water dragons jutsu. And since there was a big river by them, the water dragon was larger than normal. And as the water dragon was going towards Ritugiri would grab his axe, and his axe would start to heat up with the blade. He would swing it, then the water dragon just dispersed. Ritugiri was like, you're too strong for me right now. I guess I'm gonna have to resort to this. He was like, he closed his eyes and yelled, Demon Awakening. The white hair on the mask would then turn into white flames. He would then say, white flare style, tiger bite. His arm, he would then put his arms in a how do I explain this? You know Goku's fighting stance? Like how he stands, basically, Ritugiri is in that position, and then a white tiger, like, aura goes around him. He would then disappear and appear right behind the man. And the man would start bleeding from his head and his arms. The man is like, what did you do to me? Like, my aura. It pierces 3 spots on your body. And you're unlucky. Since you didn't move, and I was aiming for your head, I pierced the side of your head and both of your shoulders. So soon you'll die from blood loss. The man would yell out, calling Ritugiri a bastard, pretty much. Ritugiri would then get tired of being yelled at, and with one swift swing of the axe, he cuts off the man's head. He would then walk to the man, extend his arm out, and the man's soul wraps around Naruto's arm, or Ritugiri's arm, and it actually leaves a mark there. So then Ritugiri was confused, but he honestly didn't care at the point, because he could feel power coursing through him. So what happened was Ritugiri didn't know that Naruto, whatever power-ups that Ritugiri gets, since he's using Naruto's body also gets the power-up. That's why the print is on his arm. So when Naruto wakes up the next morning, he sees the long print on his arm. He would then realize that Ritugiri probably did something while he was asleep. Or it could have been trauma. But he didn't pay too much attention to it, because it wasn't hurting him or anything. So when he's getting ready to drink a sip of water before he leaves, his arm turns into like pretty much a blade. Like, it's the hand part, like, it turns all gray, like steel. And then his hand would, like, split off like a scythe, pretty much. But, like, it's a double-sided scythe. He would say, that's new. Like, what did Ritugiri do while I was sleeping? He would ignore it, though. And his arm would go, because his arm would go back to normal. He would say, well, I guess I'll just have to learn how to control that, too. And he would go to the training spot. And since Naruto slept in, the time he got there a couple of minutes before Kakashi did. So when Kakashi gets there, he's like, you're late. Because he's seen Naruto arriving. Because he has that Sharingan eye. No, I'm joking. But, yeah. So he's like, you came late. He was like, well, you came later. So Kakashi was like, touche. And then he would stand at them. He would stare at them and give them the same speech. Like he's saying, you gotta get these belts for me, you know, yada yada. So Naruto, being smarter, he knows he probably, like, he could take on a Kakashi. Yeah, he could take on Kakashi. Kakashi would probably have to resort to using the Sharingan to beat Naruto. So he knows it, but he doesn't know he has the Sharingan. Well, he doesn't want to, like, just do it by himself. Because he feels like, you know, this is a Jonin, he's highly skilled, he has more experience than me. So I might be stronger, but he has more experience. So he jumps off into the bushes with Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura. Sorry. They would then try to think of strategies until Naruto would come up with the perfect strategy. Naruto said, we'll have Sasuke rush out since he's the hot-headed one. In this case, you're pretty hot-headed. Sasuke would get mad at Naruto, but Naruto's like, just listen. because he'll expect that from you. So Sasuke's like, makes sense, I guess. So he's like, so while you're bum rushing him, you have to try to get him into the air. Because once you get him into the air, I'll launch Sakura up there. And Sakura, once you're up there, if you can't snag the bells, because he'll probably be trying to protect the bells, I want you to turn around, land with my other shadow clone, and then that shadow clone is going to launch you back up. And instead of going for the bells this time, just try to hit Kakashi. And when he comes down, I'll meet him down, and I'll start fighting him in a one-on-one. And that's where you and Sasuke sneak around and try to nag the bells. They're like, alright. So Sasuke jumps out, yelling, I'm not following that plan. And Naruto acts like he's angry at Sasuke. Sasuke would then get into a battle with Kakashi, kind of similar to the original. But then he would jump back and yell, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu, forcing Kakashi to jump in the air. Kakashi would then spot Naruto and Sakura, and Naruto would launch Sakura. Sakura would go for the bells, but Kakashi would twist his body and dodge Sakura. So Sakura would turn around like Naruto said and be launched again by one of Naruto's clones. And since Kakashi wasn't paying attention, she landed a punch right on Kakashi's face. And as he was falling, he was getting ready to land on his feet, Naruto came and gut punched him, sending him all the way into a tree. Naruto and Kakashi then get into a taijutsu battle. Naruto would throw a punch, it would be blocked by Kakashi. Kakashi would throw a kick, Naruto would dodge it, and then Naruto would uppercut Kakashi. Kakashi did a flip and yelled water style, water dragon jutsu. And Naruto, would yell sun style. Atomic style, rock riser. The rocks would rise up high enough to split the water dragon into two, and the water dragon would disperse. Naruto would then go around the uranium spikes, dash at Kakashi, and punch him in the gut, then the face, and then roundhouse kick him away. This would send Kakashi flying. Then when Kakashi regained his balance, he would throw 3 kunai. Naruto would then grab his own kunai and deflect them all, do a spin, and launch his kunai. And before the kunai hit Kakashi sees a string on it, and Naruto pulls it back, and then launches it at the bells, cutting the bells, and then he pulls it back, so when he cuts the bells, the blade of the kunai actually carries the bells back. So it's like, so say these are the bells. You see this moving around? I'm moving around. And then the blade is right behind the bells. So when it's moving, it's pushing the bells with it. So it's pushing the bells. Yeah. And Naruto would then grab the 2 bells and give one to Sasuke and the other to Sakura. He says, we all obtained the bells. We win. Kakashi would congratulate them and say, and you guys used teamwork. I'm very proud of you all, he would say. That's where I'm going to end this off. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.